Hello, and welcome to drillingcontractor.org. This is Kelly Ainsworth reporting from the 2017 SPE IADC Drilling Conference in The Hague, the Netherlands. I'm here with Ekaterina Mineva, who gave a presentation at the Art and DSAT Symposium yesterday. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you very much.
In your presentation, you said the world is in the midst of a fourth industrial revolution. Can you explain the concept of the fourth industrial revolution and give a few examples of how it's impacting industries other than the oil and gas industry?
Absolutely. So the fourth industrial revolution, essentially what it is, it's building on the three previous ones. So the first one, that's the steam engine and mechanized production. Second one, that's introduction of electricity, and that's mass production. Third one is IT and computing. So we're looking at basic automation, so things such as calculator, for instance. So the fourth industrial revolution, what it's doing, it's building on the third one, and it's making our systems smarter, it's making our computing smarter. And what it's also doing is blurring the line between digital, physical, and biological spheres, therefore almost forcing the industries to collaborate and to transfer different capabilities across industries. So for oil and gas, it's very interesting to look at cross-industry collaboration, especially industries such as space, nuclear, perhaps even medical, and things such as precision from medical, or remote control from space, or perhaps operation in extreme environment from nuclear would be quite beneficial for oil and gas to consider.
And what does the fourth industrial revolution mean for the oil and gas industry?
So essentially for oil and gas, it means that oil and gas got to start collaborating across other industries. And what we're doing already, in fact, oil and gas is already taking quite a lot of solutions from other industries. So the examples can be, for instance, 3D manufacturing, or you can also call it digital manufacturing. So what it is, originally it was introduced as, a tool to build models for architecture or 3D print models for architectural design. Now, oil and gas has been using 3D printing for prototypes. Right, and then other industries, such as, for instance, aviation industry and some automotive, they're also using 3D printing and digital manufacturing for production of their tooling parts. So essentially for oil and gas, it means that more and more technologies are coming from other industries, and it needs to learn from other industries as well as transfer technologies from oil and gas to whichever industry it might be applicable in.
In your presentation, you talked about tool-by-tool cross-industry transfers. Why is it so hard for such transfers to happen for drilling automation, and can we overcome such challenges?
Absolutely. So for drilling automation, tool-by-tool automation or transfer, what basically it means is that they're the industries, they're looking at automation or robotic solutions for a single tool. Right, they would be developing a single tool for inspection or a single autonomous rover to send to Mars. Now, what drilling automation is trying to do, in fact, is to make multiple robots to collaborate. So we're not talking about a single tool, but we are talking about multiple robotic tools, such as up to 7 different robots working together. So whilst we can take a tool-by-tool solution for, say, control systems or hardware, or perhaps how it reacts to the external environment, no other industries, in fact, looked at things such as collaborative robotics or multi-machine control systems. So for oil and gas, even though we can take some bits from different industries, there still is a lot of space for innovation that might need to be driven by oil and gas due to the complexity of technologies it's developing.
The oil and gas industry is often accused of being slow to innovate, but during your presentation you argued that's not true. Can you compare the industry's pace of innovation to that of other industries and explain some of the factors influencing the oil and gas industry's pace of innovation?
Absolutely. So the key to consider for the pace of innovation of oil and gas or any other industry is, first of all, what industries are you comparing it to? Are you comparing apples to apples, or you're comparing apples to some strange fruits? So in case with oil and gas, it's commonly been compared to industries such as consumer, for instance, or ADSL, so broadband communication, which is not necessarily a fair comparison, because the risk levers for different industries are different. So when we're talking about oil and gas, and when we're comparing it to other industries, and when we're talking at the risk profile of oil and gas, you've got a lot of risk levers there, such as environment, HSE, obviously large investments. So when you're looking at this type of risks in comparison to industries such as nuclear, where you've also got HSE, even high environmental impact and even higher investments, and then space with major investments and all of the previously listed risk factors as well, oil and gas is not doing too bad, because what it's essentially trying to do is not just develop very complex technologies such as multi-robotic collaboration, multi-machine control, etc., but it's also looking to do it in extremely complex environments. Again, if you're looking at the offshore rigs and at the operating conditions of the reservoirs, you don't always even know what's going on there. So it's the different level of complexity and risks that are associated with it. And to add to that, the last point is obviously the markets. Who is the final buyer of the technologies that are being developed, and how fast can you actually commercialize those innovative technologies that are developed in different industries? So for space, you've got a very clear buyer, right? You've got only a very small number of companies and in fact governments that are using the space technologies that are being developed. So space agencies, they know exactly who is going to be buying what. With nuclear, you've only got about 300 plants worldwide, and the number is not likely to grow. So again, you know your customer exactly well. Whereas with oil and gas, and particularly with drilling market, it's so complex and there's so many players and requirements and so on, that it's very difficult to fund a large-scale development and ensure fast commercialization, just because of the complexity of the market, in addition to the complexity of the technology, and obviously all the risk factors associated with that. So if we keep all of that in mind, oil and gas doesn't seem to be doing as bad as everyone thinks.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us on drillingcontractor.org.